Welcome to the Emerging Professional Series at the Coffee Conversation Show powered by the Emerging India Forum, TEIF, and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is Beyond the Balance Sheet, the story of a 37-year audit leader. Friend, this is a Christmas special episode. So in an industry where precision meets integrity and decades of experience shape every decision, few professionals embody excellence the way Edwin Augustine does it. With over 37 years at Sharp Tannan Group, Edwin has led complex audits, driven valuation strategies, mentored teams, and helped organizations navigate financial uncertainty with clarity and confidence. In this episode, we sit down to explore the evolution of financial leadership, the mindset behind long-term professional consistency, and the human side of a journey built on discipline, diligence, and deep rooted values. Get ready for a conversation that blends wisdom, humor, and the kind of quiet strength that only comes from decades of doing meaningful work. And we also come to know Edwin as a person. So, welcome, Edwin, today's special Christmas episode.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
So let me explain you. There'll be 3 rounds, Edwin sir.
Yeah.
First round will be a professional round, second round personal, and third is surprise rapid fire round where you have to be witty, fun, and quick.
Okay.
And here's your gift, document signer solution.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll give you. Let me complete this.
Thank you.
There is a surprise rapid fire round.
Thank you.
So friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host of Coffee, legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. So my first question for you, Edwin. After 37 years in audit and assurance, what still excites you the most about your work and how has the journey been till date?
Yeah. Good afternoon. I'm CA Edwin Augustine. I have been in Sharp Tannan for more than 37 years, out of which 28 years as a partner. The question is very relevant. Why I'm continuing and what excites me. Just to give you an example, what excites a soldier to work for the country? What excites a serviceman to work for this country? It's commitment and passion. Although we are chartered accountants, we have a very big responsibility. And I'm very happy that through the chartered accountants profession, I'm serving the nation by ensuring that the balance sheets which get signed on which the stakeholders place their reliance has integrity, that it can be relied upon. The investing community knows that where it's putting his money, it's going to be safe. And that assurance comes from the chartered accountant who signs the balance sheet. So that's the excitement, that's the commitment. So it is a social service, though it has a commercial angle, but it's like serving the community like a doctor. A doctor is always going to be in service, whether he likes it or he doesn't like it. So that's what excites me.
So let's build the conversation. How do you ensure financial transparency and integrity when clients themselves face ambiguity or uncertainty?
We kept it very simple. Although there is ambiguity, we stick to basics. And the basics which a chartered accountant has to always be steady and consistent is that what he's signing is in existence. It can be verified, it can be relied upon, and it is appropriately presented. So we just stick to the basics. We don't do anything extraordinary other than the basics. It's like a good cricketer. He plays using his basic technique. The runs will flow. That's what we keep on doing.
So let's go very down the lane. Can you recall a turning point or a tough professional moment that significantly shaped your approach to work?
There were many tough moments. One such tough moment was when we were approached by Reserve Bank of India to investigate the Harshad Mehta scam. The 1992 Harshad Mehta, who was known as the Big Bull in those days, and he had committed a very, very strategic scam, which people were finding it very difficult to understand. So Reserve Bank of India approached us and asked us whether we can be part of the team that will investigate what would happen. It was a very tough decision because at that time there was a lot of yellow journalism. People said Harshad Mehta scam can be compared to a cobweb. Where is the starting point and where is the ending point? Nobody knows in a cobweb. But that's what the type of expectation people had. But still, we, keeping ourselves grounded, said, yes, we can do. We relied on basics. And in those days, they were not very sophisticated audit tools. But the basics that we did helped us to unravel that particular scam, and we were able to come up with a report. So that was one very, very tough assignment which we did, because everybody was asking whether chartered accountant community is really geared up to unravel the scam which baffled everybody. But we just kept our head cool. We just relied on our basics and did what was right to be done.
Yeah. So, Edwin, how has the audit profession evolved during your career, 37 years? And which shift has had the biggest impact on clients?
The auditing profession in India, or I would rather say the accounting profession in India, the accounting profession is an evolving profession. It's directly connected with the growth in an economy. Somebody correctly said, accountants will never go out of business, because God also was the first accountant who was keeping tab of your good and bad activity. So the accounting profession of tracking what is right and wrong has come from the Almighty. So this profession cannot become out of place. It'll never lose its relevance. And accounting profession kept on evolving as the economy kept on evolving. And the watershed point came in when India migrated to IFRS accounting. Very traditionally, we were following the old IGAP, but when our Prime Minister, Mr. Manmohan Singh, gave a commitment to G7 that we will migrate to IFRS, because the investors who were coming to India found it very difficult to understand the Indian balance sheet. They had to spend large amount of time to convert the accounting balance sheet which we have prepared to IFRS. And we gave the assurance, our Prime Minister gave the assurance, yes, we will migrate. That was a large turning point, because a lot of accounting concepts got changed. Some of them got changed 360 degrees. And therefore, we had to upgrade our upskill to be very relevant. And we did that very quickly. And now the whole accounting profession, yes, is completely geared up to take up the challenges coming from this migration.
Wow. Thank you for leading me to my next question. With so many regulatory changes over the decades, how do you stay ahead without overwhelming your teams?
Regulatory changes have taken place. A lot of regulators have come in after as I mentioned, after the Harshad Mehta scam. Then we had SEBI, who was the SEBI was incorporated because the investing community felt very let down, because large amount of their investment got eroded because of the scam. And thereafter, other regulators also came in. All that, as I've been mentioning, that we kept ourselves to the basics. We kept on doing the right thing. We never did anything to please any client. We were always mindful of what was our larger responsibility. So we always respected the regulator. We always respect our fellow professional. We always respect even the company management. But we never advocate anybody to take shortcuts. So we always kept up the curve. We always kept doing right things without compromising. There was zero compromise on any of the framework requirement. That was the only thing which we did. Very simple, and we just kept to that, and that has led us further.
Yes. So, Edwin, what's the most challenging valuation assignment you have undertaken, and what made it uniquely complex?
I did a lot of valuation assignments. In fact, I also did a lot of special assignment. But talking about valuation assignment, in the past, before there was a change in the valuation methodology, the valuation was done based on the Controller of Capital of India. That means it was done on NAV, net asset value, and PEC, the profit earning capacity value. Thereafter, DCF came. And when DCF came, it was a new challenge, because DCF brought in a lot of arithmetic. It brought in a lot of judgment, because we had to use discounting factors. We have to understand what was going to be the growth rate. And the largest challenge was to decide on the perpetuity factor. Now, perpetuity factor means it says that this particular company for whom I'm doing valuation will continue till the universe ends. Can you imagine such a large presumption? What should be the growth rate at which a company will continue till the world ends? That was the challenge. What should I take? Because one small percentile change here and there would change the valuation. So it was very, very challenging and very challenging to convince the company that the percentage that you are taking is not relevant, not appropriate. So that was a really, really very challenging part of the whole thing.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. And in terms of special assignment, as I mentioned, that we did Harshad Mehta scam, we were also appointed by the Commissioner of Income Tax to ensure the scam money was offered for tax. Now, Income Tax Department has its own objective. Their objective is that how a company earns money that is not within their realm, they are concerned whether it is offered for tax. So we were given a special tax audit to do the audit of Citibank, who was also one of the participants in the Harshad Mehta deal which was happening. So they were, Citibank, if I am not mistaken, was representing the bull lobby. So there was a bull lobby and a bear lobby. So they were in the bull lobby. They had earned a lot of money and we were appointed to ensure whatever they earned, they offered for tax. So that was another very challenging assignment. Another assignment which I did, which was very challenging, was that there's a company called Dunlop India. Dunlop India was always finding it very difficult to get funding from banks because the banks thought that if we give to Dunlop, they will divert the fund. We were appointed by RBI to study Dunlop India's case to see whether they really deserve the funding from the bank. And it was a very interesting assignment and I was a part of it. I was very privileged to be a part of it and our report was taken very positively and RBI acted upon it.
Beautiful. What's one thing about statutory audits that people outside the industry misunderstand?
Yeah. Some things that people misunderstand. They say the auditor of the company is the gatekeeper, chowkidar. So you should not be defaulting. I think that's a real misconception. Anything which happens in the company, they say auditor should have found out. Auditor defaulted. The auditor was short in his techniques. The auditor did not apply his mind. I think that's a big misconception which lay people have. Because if there's a fraud, now this is decided worldwide by all the courts, that if there is a fraud and management is involved, no auditors can find it. Because the custodian themselves are doing something. They are manipulating. Yes, if it was possible and I did a negligence and it can be demonstrated, then definitely the auditor is at fault.
Oh, beautiful. So, for young professionals entering audit today, what core skill is underrated but absolutely essential according to you?
One of the core skills that a youngster who wants to enter into this field is, he has to be very, very agile, observant, but most importantly, he has to be hands-on on his accounting concepts. If you understand, it's like a medical profession. You go to a doctor and the doctor every time has to open the medical book to find out what medicine to give you. You will not go to the doctor. He needs to be hands-on. So the same thing within our profession. We have to be hands-on on our concept. Things may change, the method of, but the basics don't change. The basic debit and credits don't change. They are always there. So one has to be very good. And secondly, you have to have professional maturity. Do not conclude on anything till you deep dive. Something which apparently may look wrong, but in reality may not be there. So you have to understand the perception. You have to understand the thought process for passing those entries or for indulging in those transactions. So this is the message which I would like to give to youngsters. Be long term, don't be short term, be grounded, don't get carried away, and don't get excited with what your peers are doing.
Wow. associating Sharp Tannan is the legacy CA audit firm. So, can you tell us about the founding partners, Sharp Tannan, and how did you come to Sharp Tannan?
Sharp Tannan is privileged to be one of the few Indian firms which was incorporated before India was born. So our partnership is in 1932. Mr. Sharp was practicing, and then Mr. Tannan joined him. His name was earlier Tandon. Then he changed his name. He was Mr. Tannan. That partnership started in 1934, and from that time onwards, we are continuing. I am, I think, the fifth generation partner in the firm. Sharp and Tannan was also privileged to be there before our institute was formed. The Chartered Accountant Institute was formed subsequently, but we were already in practice, and we were serving many large companies. We were very privileged also to be associated with L&T when L&T was the sole proprietor. Larsen and Toubro, today this iconic company, started as a sole proprietor. So by Mr. Larsen, and then Mr. Toubro joined, and then we were part of that. We grew with them. We were auditors of Larsen and Toubro for more than 70 years. We were also associated with companies like Greaves Cotton and Crompton Greaves. So these are very legacy companies which are there. Now, what makes a company survive for more than 90 years? If our principles are not grounded on good core values, then we will be like the dot-com companies. The dot-com companies came with a big bang and they disappeared. Yes. Whereas firms like us are continuing, though we may not be in that big league of Big Four or Big Five, but once upon a time, before the advent of the Big Four and Big Five, we were in that league. Mm-hmm. We were in the first 10, and people used to look up to Sharp Tannan. And we are very proud. Today, I can very proudly say that there are more than 25 article trainees who have passed from our firm, who have become partners in Big Four, partners and directors and managers in Big Four. So they got their grounding here. And the most important grounding that we got from our founders were, be long term, do not take any shortcuts with any regulators, because that doesn't help. And even if a client wants to go away because you're not succumbing to what they want to do, when you know it is not correct, take it easy. There's always somebody who will come back to you. So integrity, core values, consistency, perseverance has always been our guiding principles.
Wow. Long-standing firms can be delivery. How do you balance legacy with innovation at Sharp and Tannan?
We inherited core values from our founder members, and the younger partners like us who came later on. We have kept one thing in mind, that we have to move with times. If you do not move with times, you'll become a dinosaurus. So we encourage talents. We send people for training. We are very agile to see what is happening in the environment. So now everything is getting digitized. We are also getting digitized. We have our younger team who have got hands-on experience on working in a digitized environment. So all that is encouraged. We have proper trainings. We send people for specialized training. So that has kept us. So there's a balance between legacy and what is innovation. But no innovation will ever make us sacrifice our core values. Innovation can help you to work smarter, but they cannot, tell you that you can get rid of your core values. You can just take shortcuts and you can process. No, we don't do that. Just like the house of Tatas, who are known from legacy plus innovation without sacrificing their core values.
Yeah, beautifully put. So, Edwin, we both are members of Indo-French Chamber of Commerce, and you're an auditor over there. For young Cs out there who want to become auditors of association, what skill sets are necessary to become an auditor of an association?
One of becoming an auditor of an association is first to understand the environment in which these associations work. They are primarily called Section 8 companies, not-for-profit organization. So understand what is a not-for-profit organization. In fact, not-for-profit organization should have the stringent auditing standards, auditing thing applied, because they are working for the society and the government is giving them so many concessions. So what we ensure is, yes, they are meeting the framework, they are doing for what purposes they have been incorporated. There is proper checks and balances, there is proper governance, and the governance gets reflected in the way the balance sheets are being made. So that's one thing which I tell youngsters, that understand the environment, understand the entity which you're auditing. You cannot be auditing a Section 8 company with the same intent as you would be doing it for a commercial organization. So that's the first thing to understand. And secondly is to be a little mature, that most of the people who are working in this Section 8 company are not accountants. They are having service in mind. They may be accidentally defaulting on something. So it's your job to give them hand holding, to educate them, to make them understand what needs to be done, what needs not to be done, so that the do's and don't do's are very clear, and therefore they will be able to, work properly without flouting any guidelines.
Beautiful. So, Edwin, during your 37 years career, what technology changes have you seen related to helping auditors?
The accounting profession is evolving. Today, a lot of technology has come in. There's a lot of specialized tools which have come in. And many feel that these tools are substitute for very routine activities which are being done. So, a lot of digitization is taking place at one side. So, a lot of routine activity. Like if I go to do an audit of a bank, I need technology, considering the scale at which the banks are operating. Now, for example, HDFC, it's a tech audit. You cannot be doing this vouch and post audit. It's completely technology. So you need to have in your team people with that caliber who understand the client's technology, who will be able to understand what the client can manipulate through these tools, so that they can churn out reports which can be manipulative and you will not be able to understand. So the approach is a little different when we do this audit. So we have been evolving, we have been doing all those things. And as I mentioned, but the basics, yes, that what we sign must have integrity, must be in existence, and must be documented.
Very true. Down, what advice would you give to young CA professionals who want to establish a sustainable audit practice?
Changes in the environment. Right? Be always upskilling your skills. Invest in leadership. You need to be a leader in what you do. There is no substitute for your technical knowledge. You cannot say that I can be a half-cook professional and yet I will be sustainable and yet I will go to the next level. You can't. Yeah.
Yes.
Think long term. Think long term, because Rome was not built in a day.
Yes.
Yeah. And maintain patience and perseverance without sacrificing core values.
Beautiful. So let's go to the next round and understand Edwin as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
I was the third child in a family of four. My father was working in Voltas, India. He was on the technical side. And it was a difficult journey for my dad, because he lost his parents at a very young age. He and his brother were just struggling. My dad did not have much of formal education, but all four children of his, we were double graduates. He ensured that we would always have chance to study, which he couldn't do. And that was a benefit which we took. I was also very privileged to be educated in a Salesian institute like Don Bosco. So I was in the boarding school for more than 7 years. And that was the best part of my journey, because to be in a boarding school run by the Salesian was something very important. And in the boarding school, as you know, I was there because I was in the old school of 11th standard. That was the last batch. So when I passed on in 1975, it was the last batch. It also happened to be at that time when Clive Lloyd came with his team to India. Yeah, and that was a good time. I can correlate myself with that cricketing environment which took place. In college, yes, I was a good sportsman. Studies was a little secondary, but sports was very important. And at that time, when I saw around, I saw people who are always talking about becoming a chartered accountant, becoming doing cost accounting, becoming lawyers. So that became inspirational. And at that point in time, I thought, yes, I must do something just to become a professional. Just being a sportsman in India in those days, one never made money the way today IPL players are doing. And that took me further. And I was very also lucky to join Sharp Tannan. I for a short duration I was in the industry, and Sharp Tannan were the auditors there, and I knew the partner who brought me here, and that was also a turning point in my life. And then I started growing in the firm. I was working with a partner who was a very one of the persons who was doing a lot of management services. So working with him very closely, I could understand new things, how things are working, and that helped me.
Wow. So, Edwin, if you had an entire Sunday to yourself with no calls, no deadlines, what would you do?
I really look forward to those days. I had many of those days during lockdown, forcibly.
Yeah.
So one thing which I would always want to do, and I've been always doing, is to spend that time to listen to my inner voice. Our emotions speak to us, the inner dialogue. What sort of a dialogue takes place in my emotion, within my subconscious? And I would spend a lot of time in contemplative prayer. Now, prayer for me is not, repeating something from a book. Prayer something is which comes from my mind, and it is more on being thankful to the Almighty for giving you life. I could have got up in the morning as a corpse. I would be a carcass, dead. But the Almighty gave me a chance to do something. And I think that is something on which I keep on contemplating. And I always contemplate on being grateful. In India, there are only I think around 5 lakh chartered accountants, in which I am one of them. Why would he destine me to become a chartered accountant? I could have been a countryside farmer, but in his plan, he planted me here. He gave me this opportunity. So I need to be thankful, and I need to ensure that I fulfill the plan that he has for me.
Yeah, beautiful. So I just said you want to fulfill divine plan. So are you associated with Giving Back to Society, with social projects?
Yes, I am very, very active for the last 45 years as a ex-student of Don Bosco School, Andheri, where I studied. So I'm a very active past pupil. I was also in the managing committee for some time, and we do a lot of activity. During COVID, we were distributing more than 2 million meals. We were associated with that Khana Chahiye, that particular NGO who was distributing khichdi. So we were part of that group which was taking that and going and serving on the roadside. So I'm doing a lot of social activity. My family also, my wife is also very active in the church. She is in many organizations, so is my daughter. So giving back to the community has always been part of our DNA, because that's what our parents taught us, that you have to give back no matter what you get. Don't take anything for granted. So that's something which
So what a family tradition you still cherish and continue even today?
one family tradition which we cherish and continue to today is to have our meals together, the dinner. So when I used to go for audit, my wife and my child used to wait for me till 2 o'clock. They used to go to sleep. When I used to come, they used to get up and we used to have. But they said one meal together is the tradition which we follow, which has come down from our parents. Because meal time is something where we can relax and speak. And they generally say that you should have meal with people whom you trust. Meal is something you're sharing food. Sharing food is not a very normal activity unless you trust that person. So it builds on trust, sharing meals together, bonding together. So that's one tradition which you have.
So if your friends had to describe you in 3 words, what would they say?
My
Your friends.
my friends, they will always say that he's dependable, always humorous, and very grounded.
Beautiful.
So I don't get carried away. I'm very mature. I don't get carried away. I'm very grounded.
Beautiful. So which is that book, movie or song that has stayed with you over the years?
Yeah, one book which I got introduced, and thanks to my brother, he introduced that book to me, was Law of Success, written by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill is a very, very well-known author. He has got a Napoleon Hill Institution in US. If you have a chance, please read that. The Law of Success was a book that influenced me a lot because it was built on concepts which Napoleon Hill got by interviewing very, very iconic business people like Ford, who has started the Ford Motor Company, Henry Ford. He interviewed Henry Ford. He interviewed so many past presidents, and all their concepts and principles are put very nicely in that book. That's one. A movie which really influenced me was The Bridge on the River Kwai. If you get a chance, please have a look at that. The actor in that, Alexei, he got an Oscar. It was during that Burma invasion of the British Army was in Burma, and this particular colonel was posted in India, and he was given that particular task of constructing a bridge. It stayed with me. One song which has always been there, which is also called the Indian version, We Shall Overcome. Hum honge kamyab. Whatever may happen, don't get discouraged. Just be grounded in what you do. Yeah. Provided you're doing the right thing. Just be there.
Beautiful.
One sentence which I often keep on saying, my friends will also say, this too shall pass away.
Yes.
Also, a bad the situation may be. Like the black cloud, the dark cloud, they always pass. They may be there, but they always pass away. So this too shall pass away. That's one thing which is very interesting.
Very true. Okay. So, what my last key will be of reflective. What legacy would you like to leave behind?
I would like to say the legacy that I would like to leave behind was that be a person of core values. Decide your values. Every family has its own values, though it is not written anywhere, like the constitution is written, but every family has a core value. Believe in the core values that you have inherited. Yeah. Be long term in what you do.
Yes.
Be patient, be perseverance, but do not take any shortcuts with any of the regulators' requirements. That's what I would tell you.
Wow. Since we're celebrating Christmas at the Coffee Corner show, what message would you like to give to our listeners, viewers out there?
You see, Christmas is a feast where everybody associates Christmas with Santa Claus. So, in our belief, Santa Claus is a very see item. But the concept of Santa Claus is that he is a giver. He doesn't wait to receive to give. So, what he gives comes not from a transaction. You did it for me, I'm doing it for you. So, with Santa Claus, there is no transaction. He is always a giver. And the concept of Christmas is that God was born to save mankind. And being a mighty God, still he thought of being born in a stable. So if you see there's a crib, Christmas will always have a crib.
Yes.
He was born in a stable to show that he was very humble. He was very human. Okay. So God cried, God felt hungry, God had problems with relationships, everything. So there has to be human. So the human side of Christmas has to be understood. The glossary is one thing, but the human side, that nobody should be sleeping hungry at any point of time. And this is something which our church has adopted. So in the church, we tell people, go in the by lanes, Find out if somebody is hungry. Come and tell us. We will take food. So in and around the church, very rarely you will find people who are hungry and not attended to.
Beautiful. So my last one is a woogly one. Describe Edwin in one line.
An evolving human being, dependable, approachable, with a motive to serve humanity.
Wow. So let's put you in the hot seat, the rapid fire round. Your go-to comfort food.
My go-to?
Comfort food.
Yeah, my go-to comfort food is my home. I would just like to be at home.
But food.
Food, yeah. It's home cooked food. I don't need food.
Your favorite color?
Brown.
Early mornings or late nights?
Early mornings.
Excel or pen and paper?
Pen and paper.
Spot audit or planned audit?
Spot audit.
Your go-to stress buster?
My home, my family.
Your dream travel place?
Ireland.
Best piece of advice received?
Keep doing, keep grounded.
Beautiful. Coffee on the desk or tea in peace?
Tea in peace.
You're a tea lover, I know. Let's introduce. And here's your gift, sir.
Thank you.
And it's an autograph also.
Thank you.
So as we wrap up this insightful episode with Edwin, we are reminded that true professionalism isn't just built on numbers. It's built on patience, mentorship, lifelong learning, and unwavering commitment to doing the right thing. With every story Edwin shared, one thing became clear: success is not measured in years alone, but in the integrity and consistency you bring to each of them. Years with the wisdom of experience, the humility of leadership, and the power of a career well lived. Thank you, Edwin, for inspiring a generation of emerging professionals, not only CAs, but all the professionals, to lead with purpose, precision, and happy Christmas to all the viewers out there. Like that, there are 800 speakers who have shared their professional, personal journeys. Subscribe to the Coffee on the Show on YouTube. Implement in your life, see the changes, and we meet with another speaker for a cup of coffee and continue the conversation. So take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.